let us keep our mics on mute until the Q&A section. Thank you.
Thank you for the housekeeping, Sister Pauline. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of this week, of the daily briefing of this week. As always, we are here from Monday to Friday, looking at different aspects of the work we do and, helping each other, helping every single member of the community who is present during the daily briefings to have a clear understanding of the journey, of the movement, of the activities that are happening within the community. To start off this evening, I already, said good evening to everyone. I would want to acknowledge the other leaders who are in the house today. We have, we just want to move, to demonstrate even more some of the things we ended the week with. The reason why we are emphasizing on this is for full understanding. We want everybody to have a clear understanding of what is going on and the innate potential that we all have as members of this community to transform the narrative of this community. So the first thing I would want to raise this evening is related to some information that has circulated. I think some of the other leaders are going to talk about it. From our perspective, what we would want every member of this community to know is that any information that you see circulating that does not come as a press release or an official statement published by ECO6 or from Swiffen published on Connect and all the other channels that we use to publish information, please don't circulate it. Please, we are calling on every member of the community. There's some information that has been circulating in South Africa that has the potential of being disruptive to the program that we embarked on, and we want to avoid any issues with our community members here in South Africa and with the authorities here in South Africa. So if there is anything that you've seen that has not been published by or put out as a statement, an official statement by ECO6 on the ECO6 website, or by or you've not seen it on the Swiffen platform channels where we present information, then please do not share it, do not circulate it. That's the first thing I wanted to raise this evening. The second thing I want to raise this evening is related to the different countries where trainings have started. Where the trainings have started, where the team lists, national lists, community lists have been set up. We are going to start this week with the setup of the agents on the system who have started undergoing the training so that they can carry on with the work on the ground. I'm talking about countries like South Africa. In fact, anyone who is in South Africa and is not part of the South African group, that has its training on Wednesdays, please reach out, put your details on, on a ticket. We spoke about it last week. Put your details on the ticket so that the leaders will pick it up and we will add you to the circulation of information for the South African training program. Yeah. There's South Africa, there's Nigeria, there's Senegal, and a few other countries. There's Burundi and all of that. So all the countries where the trainings have started, we're going to start setting up the agents this week. And to try and make sure that we have them completely set up and the trainings can go to the end so that they can start with their activities on the ground. There are two other elements that I would raise, before we wrap up for the day. But in the meantime, I would just like to welcome Sister Pauline, who was doing the housekeeping earlier. Good evening, Sister Pauline.
Good evening, Brother Ambi, our leaders, Dr. Linus, Brother Patrick, Chief Servius, my colleague, Sister Lumba, and Sister Audrey, and anybody I've missed, forgive me, and my international family. It's good to be here. It's a privilege to see where we're going and what we've accomplished. When we get to the question and answers, I would like to put something forward to our family to ensure that we stay on the right track. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Sister Lumba.
Good evening, Brother B, Dr. Linus, Chief Servius, all my brothers and sisters. Lovely to be here. Fresh new week to learn new things about SWIFT and keep the struggle continuing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Brother Patrick, good evening.
I hope she's not too demoralized.
Are you kidding? She's thrilled.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to our leaders. Good evening to the family. Always a pleasure and a privilege to be gathered together, to learn together, to share and to inspire one another towards our vision. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Brother Servius. Are you there?
Yes, good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here. Wherever you are, welcome, and thank you for joining. Thank you.
Yeah, Brother Servius, maybe you want to talk about the first point I raised as well, just so that we re-emphasize the point.
Yeah, thank you for that. I can't re-emphasize it any better, but whatever is circulated on social media is just social media. So any official statements or official updates will come through the normal channels, either through SWIFT or the ECO6 website. So let's avoid circulating unconfirmed information or unconfirmed videos or audios. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brother Servius. And Dr. Linus, good evening. Are you there?
Yes, good evening and greetings. Now, underscoring the points that both Brother Mbi and Brother Servius make about circulating information, that is not to say, we've always said that there is a lot of work going on in the background. There is a team in South Africa right now doing excellent work. We just don't want to preempt anything from the numerous discussions that are taking place. And that's why we are exercising caution in terms of the information that is circulated. we don't want to put the cart before the horse, as they say, and we typically like to come and disclose things to the community once they are pretty much finalized. There have been a number of lessons that we have learned in the recent past as a result of that. So it's best to keep things quiet and cush, and then we talk about them when we're ready to go. We don't want any stampede anywhere, anytime soon. So everything has to be very controlled. Okay, so stay tuned. If there is any announcement and direction in terms of where you should be going to spend your Lumi, then that will come. In the meantime, treat any social media postings that you see being circulated as simply postings of what should be private conversations with the various parties with whom discussions are taking place. And let's wait for those discussions to be finalized. Okay, that's extremely important. Today, we thought we'd take the opportunity to try and bring further clarity on the revenue, we call it social income model, our social income model. It's actually quite a critical model, which underpins the growth of the community, both now and in the future. We think it's very robust, and we want people to understand it. And we spent some time over the weekend trying to play with Lego, so that we can visually present it. And I want to share that with you. We've also just come up with an Excel spreadsheet, which actually documents the model and allows us to plug in a number of some numbers to get a sense of what is happening, so people understand. The reason it is the right time to discuss it is because people can actually see their accounts and they can see the exact numbers that we are talking about coming through. So now is a good time. It could not have been, it would have been premature to talk about it in any great detail before people have the evidence in front of them. So now everyone can look at the evidence in their account and say, yeah, that it ties in with what we are being told in terms of how the model works. So I know lights in South Africa are very, power in South Africa is becoming a very scarce thing. So we're going to try and do it as quickly as possible so that Brother MB and others who are attending from South Africa do not get kicked out prematurely. So I'm going to share my screen, Sister Pauline, if that's okay, so that I can go through it.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I will start with the Lego.
While Dr. Linus is preparing and sharing to share, this imagery, which we've been looking at and reflecting on over the last few days. I just really, every time we delve into these things, it becomes, it's almost so revealing that sometimes we wonder why some people why anybody would not understand it. I actually think that putting it in this, using these Lego pieces, these digital Lego pieces, it will make it a lot clearer for some people. But the whole thing behind it, the whole thought behind it, or the reason why this is very important at this point is to emphasize the element of numbers. So the more people we have, the potential for us to really drive use of the Lumi, and even with the fiat relationships we are putting in place, the potential of us creating something that is absolutely, transforming for people's lives is very, very evident. And it doesn't need, it's not like one person necessarily has to go out and get 1,000 people to start seeing it. It doesn't mean that. just a small number of people who are the right people that you get into your network makes a massive difference. Dr. Linus.
Yes, thanks, Brother Mbi. So I know I struggled when I was trying to use mind map last session to explain. So we tried to use something visual, and the reason this visual imagery is important because we hope that people can actually explain it when you get the final diagram. Now, it is actually very complex, and as I've said, the more we look at this and the more you see how complex it is, the more you realize that what we have is actually quite phenomenal. It is literally phenomenal. So there are a number of permutations. In this case, we have always said that now one person can go and register one more person, and it stops there. But the standard model is that one person registers one person, and that person goes to register another person, and the person goes to register another person. And so when we talk of a two-person seed, then it's two people, you register two people, then each of the two people go and register two people, and each of those two people go and register two people. And when we talk about four-person seed, then the person that is the initial person registers four people, as you can see here. And then each of those four people go and register four people, okay? So if we are starting with the blue circle here, this person would register the people in red would register the people in green, and the people in green would register the people in black. You know, if you want to put that.
Maybe centralize your screen.
I'll put it like this because I want to start dragging the Lego pieces to show.
Oh, okay.
So what we have done is we've used the base case of four people, okay? Remember, it could be more, it could be less, but this is a base case of four people. And the idea is that if you register somebody who goes on, to register four people, then that person brings you T1 revenue. And the four people that they register each bring you T2 revenue. So think of it like that. And so we're bringing one person on who has managed to register four other people. And so in this particular case, that person has come on board, this person here, has come on board with T1 revenue, which in this case is black. And they're also bringing T2 revenue, which are the little dots in green. I'll make it slightly bigger so you can see. I like this visual, actually. And because we said it's a four-person seed, it means we now need to bring the four people who have gone on to register four people. So we bring this group of four. That person comes here and brings the T1 revenue, and of course, the T2 revenue from that particular group. Sorry, my computer is not very fast. It's not doing it quickly enough, but that's because there are a few combinations. I'll do one or two, and then I could stop there and just show the whole thing. So let me drag that again. So we want to bring this person here. Okay, so that there. I hope you see the drift. So that person has come with T1 revenue and T2, okay? And then, of course, this person also comes with four people. And for those, for the person that is registered, they are coming with T1 revenue and T2 revenue. And then we repeat for the fourth person, which is this one here. That person brings T1 revenue, and they also bring T2 revenue, and you end up with that chain. So let's just focus into this particular block now. And we're saying that the person in red went on and registered 4 people in black. And those 4 people in black are bringing T1 revenue because they are direct T1 revenue contributors. And because the person in black registered 4 people in green, I'll make it slightly bigger so everyone can see. It means they're bringing T2 revenue to the person in red, which is nice. And remember, this is a base case scenario. There are people who would go out and register 100, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000. But let's keep the numbers really practical and small. Now, if I can zoom out a little bit, now we have this chain of obviously a block of people who by design supposed to have been registered by someone who brings 2 people who then go on to bring 2 people each. And so we bring those here. Okay, that's why I say it's a little Lego, so we can actually visually build the picture and see what it looks like. And there is a very important observation that we will come to see just shortly. I think I was supposed to copy that so that I can paste it multiple times. So I'll copy this. And paste it. And then we are bringing this to that node, just there. And then we're going to bring it again to this node, which is here. And then we're going to do it 2 more times and bring it to this node and the other one. Okay, and now I can just take this one, which we have here, and bring it as well. Just a sec. So let's take this one. Oops. I need to drag the whole cluster. We need to get the whole cluster. So let's take this cluster. Then that goes to that node. Okay. So now we have the guy in the blue who went on and registered 4 guys in red. The 4 guys in red registered 4 in black. The 4 in black each went and registered 4 people in green. What that means is that for the person in blue, the T1 revenue is the red, the T2 is black, and T3 is the green. Nice. And this is a simple model, 4 seed, okay, a 4 seed tree, social tree. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move that cluster to a node of 4. So we take that and just drag it along. I'm going to bring it closer first.
Maybe you copy it first.
Okay, so we've got it there. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this because I think this is all helping to contribute to making it a bit slow. So that's the same node. And what we're doing is essentially, we want to get this cluster. Yeah. So I copy that, and then I paste it. And we simply want to superimpose that on here. Okay. And then paste it again. You need to do it 4 times. That comes over here. And then we do it one more. We do it 2 more times. That comes over here. And remember, this is a base case of a seed of 4. But you can have 6, you can have 7, you can have 8. Once we finish this visual illustration, we can then take a look at the numbers and see how they actually move. Okay, using the formulae that we derived just a few days ago. Now, I am going to get rid of this because I might not be able to select all of it without touching the others. I'm going to get rid of this. And get rid of that. I call these the Lego pieces. So we're just getting rid of those pieces that we used as the building blocks for our model earlier. Get rid of that. And we also want to get rid of this one. But we have one more cluster to bring to this blue node. And that cluster is this one here. Bring it here. Just put it in place as best we can. Now, we have a scenario where the person in the bright green registers those in blue, and each blue dot represents a T1 revenue for the green. Each red dot represents T2, each black dot represents T3, and each green dot represents T4. We have one more. So that we can drag this now to the other nodes, and then we can see the picture of what it might look like if we are dealing with a complete cluster or a 4-node seed, a 4-person seed, social income cluster. And I'm going to move this and just bring it closer so that we can build it together. I'll just move it closer here. The idea is to just repeat what we've done and then bring that node over to this. I should copy it so that I can paste it. And then we move it to this node. There is an important reason we're doing this. When we look at the actual numbers, it will become very clear. Okay. And then we do it again twice. Let me try scrolling gently. I just need to put this over in this side. Then we do it one more time to complete the 4-person cluster. Paste. And then this goes over here. I'm just trying to align it as best as I can. And that's it. So that completes a Lego for a 4-person cluster with T1, T2, T3, and T4. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just save this and stop sharing, not stop sharing, but open one that we did earlier together with Brother B, which is in PDF. It's easier for us to zoom into it and then take a look at it. But that's how we built it. So I'm going to save this, which we have built together. And I hope by doing it together, we can have a much better understanding of what it represents. And if you were to just print this out and take with you when you are talking to others, then you can explain what each dot is supposed to represent and what it means. So I'm going to now close this particular application. And then I will just open the PDF. We can look at the PDF much quicker. Okay, this is the model that we just built. Okay, I'm going to zoom it. Before I zoom into it, of course, for the person that is sitting at the center with a SWIFT ID, the green dots represent T1 income source. And then the blue dots represent T2. And then the red dots represent T3. And the black dots, let's zoom into it, if I may. And the black dots represent T4. And the green dots represent T5. So T5 is revenue that you get 5 people removed from you. Now, the numbers and the next spreadsheet I'm going to show you might shock you. Because it's not necessarily the T1 and the T2 that bring you substantial revenue. It is actually T5. It's ironic in the sense that most of it is coming from somebody you might not have ever met, somebody you may not even know, but somebody to whom you gave opportunity to be part of the network by simply registering somebody who then goes on to register them. And it is actually quite an eye-opening observation. So let's go to the spreadsheet. I'm going to zoom out here again so we can all see this 4-person social income model in its entirety as a single picture. Okay. Again, it doesn't quite fit entirely on my screen, but you get the image. You are at the center of it. The 4 people you register at each corner in green. The 4 people, they go on to register at each corner in blue. The 4-person, the blues, go and register in red. And the 4 persons, the reds, go and register in black. And finally, the little green dots, which are 5 people removed from you. One of the things that becomes very clear here is that you have more green dots, the tiny green dots, more than the black dots, and you have more of the black dots than the blue dots, and you have more of the blue dots than the green dots. But you only started with 4 green dots, i.e. 4 people that you onboarded yourself. And remember, when we discussed this last week, we came up with a formula which tells us precisely how many people we can expect in a chain or in a cluster. If I can open that, I think I might have closed it, but let's see. Let me see if I can open it, whether it's this one. I think it was this one. So this was the formula that we came up with last week, that the total commission is T1 times N, where N is the seed or the number of members you start with, to the power 1 plus T2 N to the power 2 plus T3 N to the power 3 T4. What this does is it means that if you see how complex the 4-person seed Lego is to build visually, try and do one with 10 people. Of course, you can do a 3-dimensional model and all that, and it could actually be quite interesting to actually make this in real life. But it starts getting very complicated by the time you get to T5 and so forth. We are using the benefit of a 2-dimensional, a 2D or 2-dimensional space, which you can lay down on a flat sheet of paper to look at the 4-person seed. But by the time you get to 5, 6, 7, 8, you need to really be doing it in a 3-dimensional frame. But we use this generic model, which we've come up with, and created a spreadsheet, which can then allow us to understand what it might look like. So let me open the spreadsheet now, and we can go through it. So I'll just go to there, and I believe this is one of it. Prince, I'll call you back right in the middle of a presentation. I'll call you back. Thanks. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet, and what we've done is actually quite simple. Now, as I said, we wanted to keep this to now so that people have the evidence in their accounts. I'm going to make the screen bigger. T1, now, what we've done here, we've got the transaction amount. TS is just transaction amount. Now, in this particular instance, it's AKL, because that's what we are distributing now. But when we launch local currency services in the various respective countries, it will be the same. We will apply the same revenue model for fiat. Exactly the same. And so those that are busy registering people in Nigeria or Malawi or South Africa, if the time comes when we're rolling out local services in those countries in partnership with local institutions, then your benefits will come abundantly as they are coming now in fiat. No one can take that away from you. And so for now, we're using the stimulus payment of 6.26, which many of you have seen. And the standard fee rate, I was talking to some members of the community, there is a standard fee rate of 2.5% on every transaction. So every time a stimulus payment is sent out, the fee that is applied to it is 2.5%. Now, what Swiffen does is it uses this particular revenue model, this social income model, and distributes that to people across the network. And that will continue. That will not change. And so for a transaction amount of 6.26 and a fee rate of 2.5%, the actual fee amount is 0.1565, as you can see on the screen. I'll make that bigger so everyone can see it. And we know that the tiered commission percentages are 16% for T1. This is public knowledge. We talk about it all the time. And T2 is 8%, T3 is 4%, T4 is 2%, and T5 is 1%. And then it stops there. It doesn't go beyond that. Okay, so what that means is that for a commission payment, what that means is that for a stimulus payment of 6.26, the 16% of the fee that is charged, as I've already explained, 2.5% of 6.26 is equal to 0.1565 lumi. 16% of that is paid out as T1, which is this amount. So if you log into your account right now and you select T1 commissions, you will see that the payment that is coming in under T1 is exactly 0.250440. If you see that, then that is coming from a stimulus transaction. Now, of course, if somebody then transfers 10 lumi or 20 lumi or 100 lumi or 500 lumi or 10,000 lumi, then that fee goes up significantly. So if this is 1,000, and there are people who move those amounts around, then the fee amount would be 4 lumi, and the T1 commission, the fee amount is 25 because it's 2.5%. And the T1 commission, which is 16% of the 25, will be 4 lumi. So if you have somebody registered and that person goes on and does a transaction for 1,000 lumi, you are guaranteed, no questions asked, to receive your 4 lumi resulting from that transaction. But let's stick with the 6.26, which is from the stimulus distribution. That is what is streaming into many people's accounts right now. And if you go and select T2, you will see that it is 0.12520, which again is 8% of this fee amount of 0.1565. And T3 is this, T4 is this, and T1 is this. But you would have thought that because T1 is small, which is 1% compared to 6%, 16% for T1. The irony is that some people might think that if I keep this to myself and I register everybody under me directly so that I can get T1, I will make more money. No, that's not true. Absolutely not true. That's why I said that the numbers you will see will shock you. And the reason for that is simple, because it's a numbers game. Notice that the T1s, or sorry, the T5s are these little green dots that you see on the screen. And there are many of these little green dots compared to the red ones, and then compared to the blue ones, and so forth. So the value is in numbers. The value is in numbers. So what we've done is we've come here and said, well, if you have a seed, remember we're talking of a 4-people seed. That's what we build a Lego with. And if you do a 4-people seed, that's what it looks like. Okay, I'm now going to look at the screen. So if you have 4 people, then what we expect is that your T1 commission is going to go from, obviously, this is the seed, the tree seed, going from 0, 1, 2, all the way to 4. We want a maximum of 4. But this will show you what it will look like for 0 person. Of course, if it's 0, then it's 0. You do nothing, you get nothing. If it's 1, then you get the stream of income, which is this T1, that T2, that T3, that T4. And the total revenue, which is shown in the blue, the thick blue line, is simply the sum of T1 plus T. It is a T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5. And that's what gives you the network value. The network value is your social income from your network. Okay, that is your social income from your network. So this is a Swift social income model. Now, if you, like I said, we built the Lego with 4, but I mean, you don't have to start with 4 people. You still get something if you do with 2. And if you do 2, that's what the revenue might look like. You end up with 2 lumi, okay, as total. But you do 4, you end up with 4 lumi as total income. In this particular case, based on the stimulus payments, if you do 5, it goes up to 10. When you do 6, it goes up, it starts approaching 15 and all that. But look at the numbers when you get to 25, let's say 20. All right. You see very quickly that those numbers begin to jump in a very big way. And that is the network value, which is the blue line. That's probably sitting here at about 5,000. That's 5,000, about 5,500 lumi. But look at what happens if it's 100. This is the interesting thing. If you had gone and registered all the 100 people yourself, then of course your income stream would be limited to T1. And as you can see, do we have T1 on there? T1, I don't think we've plotted T1 here, but you would see the income stream with T1 is small. The vast majority, which is close to the total actually, is T5. And that's the biggest revenue generator, which is very close to the total. So the vast majority of the income is coming from T5. And that is really simply because the total numbers that are involved in T5 are much higher. Okay, now if you move this, we made this spreadsheet to go up to about 1,000. Now when you do that, the numbers really just go off the charts. But remember, this is based on 1,000 people going to register 1,000 and each 1,000 going to register 1,000. Of course, that's the standard. That is the baseline. But some people will do less, some will do more. And not everybody who is registered will go on to register the same number of people. Some will register more. So in that particular case, the number that you have to multiply with your T1 or T3 or T4 income would be different in different scenarios of number registrations, but we're using the standard base case scenario. Okay, so that's how that works. Let's just do 20, for example, in a tree. Even 20 probably is, why don't we try 16? All right, so that's what it would look like. So the blue line here is the total, that is your network value or your social income total network value. And then the red line is T5. See how closely the red line follows the blue line. And then the others are essentially just lagging and they're not generating as much. Okay, so don't think of yourself, don't think that you should register everybody under you and have and receive T1 income. Is wrong. Don't do that. Empower as many people as possible. And that's what will create value for you. In fact, the majority of the value through your network will be coming from T5. It's not T1, not T2, not T3, not T4, but T5 is dominant. And that is true across all the models that you can think of. Of course, this is again relying on the base case. I think it's actually quite a very useful insight for us to look at this like this together. So if I come back to this image, just to summarize, you are at the center with your SWIFT ID, and everybody else that you register is linked to you directly. The green ones are linked to you, from whom you would receive T1 income. When they go on and register the blue dots, you get the T2 from the blues. When the blues go and register the reds, you get T3 from the reds. When the reds go and register the blacks, you get the T4 from the blacks. And when the blacks go and register the greens, you get T5 from the greens. And as you can see, when you zoom in, there are more greens than there are blacks, and there are more blacks than there are reds. There are more reds than there are blues, and more blues than there are greens. And the vast majority of your income will be generated from your network value will be dominated by T5, not by T1, not by T2, not by T3, not by T4, but T5, just because of the sheer number and the multiplying effect that you can see. The other thing that we showed on the spreadsheet, which we didn't plot, is the network size. Okay, and the network size is simply the total number of people in your network. If we plotted a network size, the network value is actually a monetary value. That is, in this particular case, it's in AKL. If it was US dollar denominated community, then this would be US dollars. If it was in South Africa, it would be South African rand denominated value distribution and so forth. In Nigeria, the Nigerian nairas and all that. But if you look at the network size is simply the total number of people within the network. And so the total number of people that you would have at T1 and at T2 and at T3 and at T4 and at T5. We just add them all up and that'll give you these figures. Okay. By the time you have 16 people in a network who are very effective, you're looking at a total network size of more than 1 million people. But you've only started with 16. But you've chosen the 16 carefully, and each of the 16 has gone on to register 16 more. Each of those 16 have gone on to register 16 more. And as I've emphasized, that's the base case scenario. And even this 4 seed that we're looking at with our Lego, it's simply a very small case that we can manage visually with the Lego, like we built it together in order to come up with that. And with that, if you count the number of green dots, you would find that it would come up to about 1,364. And look at the shared difference in terms of the increase in those numbers. From 0, when you do nothing, you register nobody. Of course, you do nothing, nothing happens. Okay. It is about action, 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 action. That's what makes the difference. If you only manage to register 1 person, your network size is 5. You register 1 person, they go on to register 1 person, they go on to register 1 person. For you to get T1 up the way to T5, you only need 5 people in a chain. We illustrated that last time. And then it jumps quickly to 62, and then 363, and then 1,064. And if you put, say, 20 here or even 100, then you realize that those numbers really begin to jump very quickly. Of course, the chain would not be complete in the sense that if you register 100 people, not all the 100 will go on to register 100. So you may need to take a conservative approach and have a more conservative estimate in terms of what the actual network size might be. But this is 1, 2, 3, that's 10 billion people. And you're starting with 100. Like Brother B said last time, the numbers jump very, very quickly. And this is what you want to leverage. Okay. I'm going to stop, and I hope this gives us a much better visual explanation. And I also hope that each and every one of you can log into your accounts and can confirm these values, T1 all the way to T5. They are coming in like a stream, and they will continue to do so, whether we are dealing with fiat, whether it's Lumi. But when we engage in any country and we start doing local currency transactions, you can expect the same stream to flow. For now, of course, we are focusing primarily on the common and single instrument of exchange, which is Lumi. But a time will come when we will begin to interface that and offer services in various local currency regions in collaboration with local regulated financial institutions in those respective countries. Discussions are ongoing, and when announcements are due to be made, we will bring them here. So that is what we refer to as a Swiffen social income model. That's how it works. And you can see these numbers streaming into your accounts right now. Even as we are speaking, people are getting paid. Okay, so I will stop and then perhaps we can jump straight and answer some questions. But that's what it is. And you can verify it with the entries coming to your account. In fact, you can calculate it. You know, from the numbers, you can determine how many people are generating T2 for you, how many people are generating T3, how many people are generating T4. All you have to do is when you log into your account, you select T1, T2, T3, and it'll give you the number very quickly. And if you have the numbers, you can then plug those numbers in and multiply with these various income factors. But of course, this will only apply for the Lumi. It will not apply to transfers. It will not apply to other transactions people are making on a daily basis. But generally, it should be significantly more because as people transact, and this is forever, okay? We've spent a lot of time and effort to build a complex model, and it's going to just run. And if we could get this run on systems and computers, that we can just throw away the, you know, as they say, you know, lock the doors and throw away the keys so that it just does its thing forever, then we would do that. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and over to you, Sister Pauline.
Thank you very much. Dr. Lawrence, I don't even know what to say. That was fantastic, honest to God. I understand the numbers, but those formulas, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna do my head in. But you can see where you can go and how much you can earn if you just put the work in, and it's just from registering 5 people. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, it looks like Brother Ambi, you're welcome, because it was mind-blowing. It looks as though Brother Ambi may have been thrown off, so sorry that he's not here. We do have a few questions that's been said and want to be asked. So if you're not, please keep your mic muted if you are not going to ask a question, and people will come to you. If you keep on muting your mic, I'm afraid we will have to put you into the waiting room. So let's be respectful of our leaders here. Right, thank you. The first question is from Akul Femi.
Femi.
Okay, but go ahead, sir. And if you can keep your question as brief as possible, because you know we weren't supposed to only go an hour, but we've already gone over that already. So if you can keep it brief, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number one, I would like to commend Dr. Linus for the good work and every member of the team. My question, though I came in late, but the little I met is so fantastic. On our registration, when we started doing newly, that is about a year and a half ago, we don't know anything about it then. So the person that introduced us gave us a PIN number that we will use to register, not knowing anything. So every registration we made the registration with his own CV. As I'm talking to you, I register more than 1,000 people on his own CV. So I don't know, maybe we are going to enjoy from that bonuses like maybe T2, T3, I don't know. So that is one. Then number two that I want to say is about the Nigerian agent training. since last week, I stopped attending because I don't even know when and how are we doing the training. Because if I could remember 2 or 3 times, I logged in to attend the training and there was no meeting. So I got annoyed. Since then, I didn't even come online again. So I don't know the timetable. We were told that the timetable will be made. There is no any timetable. We don't know anything. So I want you to please work on this. So that is just the 2 things I have to say.
Very good. Thank you so much. I did promise that we will put a tool, an event management tool on Connect. We haven't done that yet. The tool is available. We actually already paid for it. It's just a question of installing it and configuring it so that people can start using it. But it might take us a few more days yet, but we will get it done. In the meantime, just reach out to Brother Mb, Brother Patrick, Brother Elad, and get a sense of when the meetings are for Nigeria. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. When you start on a journey, the one guaranteed way of not getting there is give up midway. And so the number one lesson of success, the number one lesson of getting to the finishing line and meeting your goals is you don't give up. You die doing it. You don't give up. Okay. Now, especially if the goals are very clear and you know exactly what you want to achieve. I think for us as part of this community, we know precisely why we are doing what we are doing. Number one, there are many people who have been excluded for decades and for generations. That has been a cause of poverty for many. We want to change it. We want to be part of changing it. That's why we are organized as a community to say that we have to do all that we can to make sure that exclusion becomes a thing of the past. We also know the struggles of people in local communities that are not able to be part of the global digital economy, let alone be able to interact and transact with people in their own country with the same currency. We want to provide an opportunity for members of this community to access a single instrument of exchanging value so that whether they are in Africa, in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Malawi, in Congo, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, it should not matter. Because guess what? The vast majority of people don't actually understand all the complexities with the over 40 different currencies that we have across the continent. All they need now is to access the massive opportunity for wealth creation that comes under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Now, if in our time we exclude people from participating, then I don't know what to say. We just need to make sure that it doesn't happen. So that's our goal. That's where we're going. And so that's why the income model makes sense. That's why the social income model makes sense, that everyone gets together as part of a community. We develop and implement tools and solutions that would redistribute income in a way that has never, ever been done before. We're very committed about that. And we will pursue that to the end and hopefully build a foundation that others can pursue. This is not about charity. And what we are saying is action, action, action. You must participate to see the benefits. You must be part of this community. You must do your bit to engage and onboard others. You must do your bit to educate them so they are well informed to educate others so that we can grow from strength to strength. And we are doing well already. There is a common saying that instead of giving somebody fish, don't give them fish, teach them how to fish. I mean, we have been seen as basket cases of the world for so long, almost as the continent where everyone comes and hands out charity as though we don't have enough. We do have enough. That's it from me. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Linus. Mr. Femi, congratulations, because if you have registered over 1,000 people and those goes on registers and those goes on registers, I need your SWIFT number to ask you, because you are doing very well. So congratulations and keep up the good work. Well done. Thank you, sir.
Sister Pauline, it's thanks for pointing that out. Now, one of the things that Adekunle said is that he was given a SWIFT ID and he was registering these people under somebody else's SWIFT ID.
Yes.
If that is the case, and your own SWIFT ID is not linked to those members you registered, then you will not be receiving the income. It's going to somebody else. And you will not be seeing even T1, you will not be seeing T2, you will not be seeing T3, you will not be seeing T4. Sadly, that is the case.
So how can that be rectified, Dr. Linus?
And as you can see from the model itself, you know, we can always, the model is built in such a way that you start from where you are. It is so complex, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but what it will mean is that we would need to go back and identify each of the 1,000 people that Adekunle had registered and assign those people to Adekunle so that those people that they also registered, Adekunle could start getting T2 and subsequently T3 from others and all the way to T5. My recommendation at this stage is, and we have seen this in the past, where a conversation with the person whose ID you were using, giving you permission to change or share some members between your accounts is achievable. I've had situations where people have approached us and said, look, this member was registered under this person because at the time I was told this wasn't explained to me the way that it is explained now. And therefore I did not know. And because I did not know, I simply used somebody else's SWIFT ID and registered them underneath them. Now, if you can come into some agreement that you share, then some of those can be transferred. It is possible to transfer. But it has to be only with agreement. We couldn't just go in and do it on our own accord, even though it is possible to do it. I think some members here would testify that there have been changes in the past where members have come into some mutual understanding that it needs to be so.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Femi.
Yes, it answered the question.
Okay, so please do not, please, can you hold on just a second, Mr. Femi? Anyone that continues to unmute themselves without being asked, I would have to put you in the waiting room. Please do not unmute yourself until asked to do so. Let's respect each other. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Femi, go ahead.
Okay, sir. So out of those people that I registered, I could not remember all of them, but few of them I could get their sleeping. So I don't know if that will be possible because Dr. Linus said he's going to be with agreement with that person. So I don't know if the person will be, I don't want to mention his name publicly.
Yeah, it's something that you're going to have to speak with the person about. But going forward, ensure that whoever you register has your SWIFT ID so that you can gain the rewards from your hard work. But thank you very much for highlighting that. Thank you. If you can mute yourself, please, sir, that'd be really great. Abuka Ahmed, can you unmute, please, and ask your question? If you could be brief, that'd be appreciated.
That's the thing, though, because obviously, because you're such a hello, good
Yeah.
day to
Yeah.
official.
Yes, good day, sir. How can we help you?
Thank you. Please, I have a question here where say create a new member. So I was trying to register somebody, and whenever I finish filling the form, so for the submitting, I have seen 2 submit under the form. So whenever I click the one, so I don't know how this idea changes in, or like the one that we normally used before.
Okay, what are you registering for? Swifting, Connect, or Transact? You have to be more specific, sir.
Sweeping account.
Okay, so when you try to register someone on the Swifting account, what happens? Hello?
He says there are two submit. He says there are 2 submit buttons. I think one submit button allows you to register the person and open the profile. The other submit button allows you to register the person and create a new registration form for the next person. So for example, if you have a queue of people in front of you, you'll just register and then submit and create a new one. So the next person can come and you take the details, you register, next person take the details, register, and so forth.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Linus. I hope that answers your question, Abubakar Ahmed. Thank you. The next person is Kalim David. Kalim David, can you unmute?
Evenings.
Yes, good day.
Dr. Linus, what I wanted to know, I think we've got about 15 of our members that passed on. What happens to their accounts? Because the family wants to know. I think 5 of them are young girls with kids and so on. Can you tell me what happened to the accounts?
So we're referring to the beneficiaries of those
okay.
people.
Yes.
Now, if you go to your account, and I would encourage people to do this, if you go to your account, there is something they call operators. So you can actually create an operator for your account. So if your husband have an account, you can add your wife as the operator on your account. So she's always still in charge of your account. And vice versa. You can make your husband an operator on your account so that he always has access to your account. You can add your children, for example, so that in the unfortunate and sad event that any of them passes on, at least somebody in the household still has access to the account.
So, Dr. Linus, what you are telling me is, can we put in the mother or the child or whatever?
Because in reality that person has ceased to exist. I mean, what could be done is if there was evidence to suggest or to show the sad events that have happened, then whatever balances are there left there could be transferred to their estate if there is one, or transferred to their parents or their daughter or whatever it is. Otherwise, it will just sit in the account and it will just remain there and gather dust.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Linus. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Right. Our next question is from Princess Deepo. Please unmute.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I have 3 questions. Dr. Linus, thank you very much for the presentation. When we started a year and a half ago, like the other speaker was referring to, we didn't know about the network system. We were just loading people without knowing. Now, I want to know, the person that loaded me,
yes,
I haven't seen them. They're not helping me in any way. They're not supportive. I get all my help from Brother Saviors. And I've been asking that person must be removed from my upper level so that it can be Brother Saviors there. I've sent in a ticket and everything. I want them removed because they just introduced me and that was it. I don't even know what that person is. So I don't want them to be any commission for the work that they're not doing. They're not supportive, they're not doing anything. Brother Saviors is giving me all the support and the training and everything, and he's not getting any cents from my commissions, all the levels. So that's number one.
Okay, yes. Now,
That's number one. That person must
yes. Can I answer that one first?
Yes, yes.
As in the previous question to one of our brothers, it does need to be done with consent. It does. I mean, we couldn't go in and just rip somebody off an account. But you are right that if you're not getting the support you need, it is your account, and it is important that you get the support from the people who registered you. And if you want to change it, that's your choice. But with consent, obviously, from them. Now, when we started off, there's something we did. We had a team of people who were actually verifying the accounts, and the accounts all went into a pool. When you registered, it went into a pending pool, and people who helped with the registration would grab the account, they would check the information, and then obviously what we discovered was that they would assign it to themselves. Now, obviously they were doing work, which was important work, and therefore if that is how your account may have been assigned, then we couldn't take it away from them. I mean, they did the work that they did at the time that we had to go through that process. So with consultation, you can change, yes, bottom line.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
But
Linus.
if you don't even know where they are,
Okay.
yeah, brother, Dr. Linus, if you don't even know where they are, how are you going to get contact?
Oh, it's easy. It's easy to find out. If you submit a support ticket, our support team will tell you precisely who your account is under. They will be able to tell.
No, I can tell myself, but I don't know this person, this broker.
You can tell yourself.
I don't know
right,
them.
okay.
Yeah, it's there on my profile. It tells there's a broker name there, but I don't know who that
Correct.
is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I wouldn't claim to know either.
Okay. Number two, Dr. Linus, this is a very sensitive issue in South Africa.
Yes.
The videos about the Pick and Pay and the audio about the African Bank. Now, the audio is not a big deal because it's not Chief Samako who's on it, but the video, it's actually Chief Samako who is actually on that video.
Yes.
And doing the training at Pick and Pay. Now, I'm having questions that are coming from the community, and I cannot answer. And I've actually spoke to Brother Savius. I've actually even sent the video to Brother B. And Brother Savius couldn't answer either. So it's a very sensitive issue because it will cause a very serious chaos in South Africa if Pick and Pay is not actually incorporating Lumi within their system and people cannot use it. And for me, it's very unfortunate because in that particular area, I do have candidates who are actually in government. They are actually sitting in that municipality in the government, and questions are coming and I cannot answer.
Right. Okay. That's unfortunate, and we share your concerns as well. In fact, I'm not sure when you joined the call, but that was the first thing that both Brother B and Brother Sevius and myself commented on, that people should refrain from sharing content that is not official. I'm aware of that video that was shot by Chief Semako. It was intended to be a private documentation of what they were doing. And it is, I think everybody is permitted to keep a diary. Now, if it is sent to somebody in confidence and it gets released without official notice, that is obviously why we are saying that people should not pay too much attention to it unless it is official, because it might have been leaked unintentionally. With respect to the audio, we obviously share the concerns. There is very important work that is going on and conversations that are going on and discussions that are going on. No one wants to derail any of those discussions by preempting the outcome of the discussions. That's why it's so important to keep these things push. So our advice to the community, pay no attention to what you hear that's rumor until it is made public through official channels.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. That was your two questions, Princess?
Dr. Linus didn't answer me.
He was saying that unless
Chief
it's been
Marco. Yes, Chief Marco.
Unless it's been put on the official.
Sorry,
Yeah,
let
I
me come
heard
in.
that part.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Princess.
Princess Deepo, can you please bear with us because you want us to answer your question? So please, can you bear with us and we will do our endeavors. Chief Servius, go ahead, sir.
Okay, to answer you.
You're coming through low. You're coming through low. Come again.
Okay, to answer you, Princess, we are trying to locate Chief Marco so that we can have a face-to-face meeting with you and him so that he can explain. So it's fine. We'll arrange that meeting, possibly this week.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that your questions now, Princess?
Yeah, at least we'll hear from him, from the Chief Marco. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you very much. The next question is Silver Server 53.
Yeah, Princess, sorry, Sister Pauline, before we go to the next question, Princess, I can only reassure you and other members of the team that there is a lot of hard work that is going on in the background with a lot of sacrifice from many members of the community and people from all walks of life who have seen the need for inclusion and the need for an instrument of exchange that is resilient to manipulation and that can keep its value over time. Those sacrifices and challenges and efforts are ongoing and completely unrelenting. So let's be constructive and let's put our heads together and remain completely focused on the goals and the objectives that we have set ourselves to attain. And with God's help, we will get there.
Thank you, Dr.
Linus. Thank you, Dr. Linus. Thank you.
You're welcome, Princess.
Thank you.
Being the moderator, I'm going to cheat because I'm going to come in now. I want to just let our community know, especially those users that has registered on Transact. I have noticed that there are a number of peer persons who have 2 Connect accounts. Now, just to let you know, your KYC is checked. It is checked. And if you do a transaction and it is found out that you have 2 different Connect accounts, because everything is checked vigilantly, your payment will be denied and your and ask for your KYC and your Connect account to be updated. It is important that the name on your ID is the same as the one that you have registered on your Connect account. Well, all your accounts would be good. However, we do appreciate that the SwiftFin accounts were created sometimes many, many moons ago, but your Connect account and your Transact account, along with your IDs, should be identical. Also, please do not change your names around because you will be found out. There are people who uses all 3 names and they open 2 or 3 accounts and change their names around. You will be found out. It does not work. Security is tight. Okay, so going forward, please be mindful of this. And if a number of you have had your KYC rejected, please go in and check the reasons why they have been rejected or your transaction has been rejected. Please, can you look into it, amend them accordingly, or raise a ticket and ask for them to be amended? And we can do so that you are continuously on the right track. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry about that, Dr. Linus.
Thank you so much, Sister Pauline. That's a very important point. It's a very important point. Please remember that there are many people working hard in the background to make this a success, not just for a small segment of society, but for everybody. Everybody. Please, let's all do our bit to make sure that that process is smooth, the work is shared, and that it is not unnecessarily made more burdensome or more difficult. There is no need, absolutely no need, to go and create multiple accounts on Connect. Why? Because you want to go and claim the bonus that is sitting there. Just give it a pass. You know, there will be more that will come. Focus your attention on onboarding other people. I mean, the bonus is 6 months. You've seen the model yourself. You will get paid phenomenally well if you just concentrate your time onboarding people in the community and educating them on the merits of the social income model and how they will benefit from it so that they can come on board. That will give you far more value longer term than trying to spend your time to create 2 or 3 accounts so you can claim the bonus that is there. It's not worth it. And by doing it, you are making it difficult for those who are checking the KYC, because they now have to go through various combinations of names to see whether it's the same person. Please, let's not do that. Let's all work together as a community with decorum and with, you know, standards of respect and dignity that is unseen anywhere else, because that's what we need to do. Okay.
Thank you,
some unspoken rules. For example, you know, a few days ago, for example, there was a picture that somebody posted, which was quite not a very nice picture. We don't want that kind of content. This is not the place for it. If you want to engage your time either posting pictures of naked people or otherwise unclothed, I'm sure there are so many outlets on the internet that you can go and do that, but just not on Connect, because Connect is a family portal. We expect children there, we expect young people there, we expect students, we expect, you know, you and your mother, you and your children, you and your neighbor, side by side. It has to be with utmost decorum that people may not even expect is possible on the internet. But let's do it. Let's make it happen. And let it be our pride that we made it happen. So before you post anything, think. Before you try and create that extra account so you can trick and gain access to some extra Lumi, think. It's not necessary. You know, just by registering 5 people, you will stand to earn that multiple times over a period of time. And that is where you should be spending your time, not on creating extra accounts on the platform, because it makes the job more difficult for the team that is working so hard trying to make this happen. And it's a very genuine plea from me. Sister Pauline, thanks for bringing that up. We have to do that. If we don't do that and we expect that somebody else will come and clean our house, it's not going to happen. It will not happen. I mean, we've seen it long enough to know that that will not happen. And so when there is an opportunity like this, let's all embrace it with a sense of duty that we expect ourselves, that we expect from ourselves, a sense of duty like no other. Let's make it happen. Not just for us, but let's make it a good place for the younger generation, a good place for the younger generation to build and move on, so that we can be proud that we've done something as a community that really is bringing value to people and potentially can change lives and change the narrative. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And there are so many people that are spending their own money in countless amounts that are unimaginable to make sure that this is a success and that we can have the benefit of this. Look around the internet, look around. Where have you seen something like this? So let's be mindful of that. Let's just work together as one big family and one community. Let's do the right thing.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. I just wanted to put that out there because I know a number of our family members, I just call us family, have been saying, why is my KYC taking so long and stuff like that. These are the reasons where, people have done this, and we have to be scrupulous, and we have to be mindful, and we have to ensure that we look after our people in the correct manner. Sister Lumba, who is, I just want to bring her in. I do apologize for this. I do want to bring her in because she is a team leader for the Transact section. I don't know if you want to add anything, Sister Lumba, please come in.
Yes, thank you, Sister Pauline. Thank you, Dr. Linus, as well for that excellent presentation. I just want to remind everybody, when we are registering people, please be mindful of the age limit. The other day, I found 2 children who have Swifin accounts. One is 4 years old and the other one is 7 years old. They were trying to, someone was obviously doing this for them, trying to make an AKL transfer to Transact. So this is how we scrutinize and we make sure we check each and every ID that you are uploading. And the name on the account was something different, but when you look at the ID that they've, the national ID that they've put up, lo and behold, you see these beautiful young angels being put there. So these people have been collecting money using these children, and you can bet that we are going to follow them and find who they are. And if they don't give us a very good reason why they've done that, they stand the chance of being blocked from the Swifin community and the accounts being removed from them. So, this is just another example to show you that let us follow the rules. No one would take a child who is less than 18 years old to go and register a bank account anywhere in the world. Why would you want to come and do this here on the Swifin community? The only answer I have is greed, and we should not go down that road. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Lumba.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Silver. Sorry, thank you very much for your patience. I just thought what I had to say was very important going forward. Silver Surfer, please, can you unmute and go ahead?
Grand Rising, good afternoon, good night, good day to the house. A pleasure to be here. My question is, I don't know if maybe it has been mentioned before or I missed it somewhere along, didn't read of it. At the coming of, is it September or October next year, what would be, at the end of the stimulus, what would be the situation with the T1s and T2s and that sort of thing? And would we still be able to refer persons to the platform?
Those are here to stay. Those will never be taken away. Remember that the primary source of transactions now is the stimulus distribution, but I'm sure many people will testify that increasingly more and more people are exchanging Lumi between themselves. Some are buying goods and services from others. There are restaurants that accept it in some areas and so forth. So whenever somebody does a transaction and that transaction carries a charge, that charge will always be distributed to the community as part of your social income. It will always be distributed, guaranteed. We've already programmed it, we've logged it in, and it's running like a good machine.
Okay. But can we still refer persons to the platform? Would there be still a system like that, or how would it?
Yes,
because
it will always be there, always.
Okay. Okay. All right. I thank
Of
you.
course, when we look at the model that we created, the one that we visually illustrated using the 4-person tree, of course, if you are at the center, then the person who is next to you, you are getting T1. But for that person, the person they registered, they're getting T1 from, and it carries on like that. It's a chain that just goes on, and it's already been implemented and it's working fine. Why change it?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You have
thank
another
you very
question,
much.
Silver Surf? All right, thank you, Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
53. Thank you very much.
Okay.
The next one is from Daniel. Daniel is here? Sorry.
Good evening, everyone in the house.
Yes, good evening, sir. How can we help you? If you can keep your questions brief, because there's a number of hands up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please, I registered people 2 weeks ago and they couldn't receive their something ID. And the link that was sent to their email, the verification link, when I click on it, it shows invalid code. I raised a ticket since last week. Brother Patrick responded to that ticket. But what he said is that they will still resend another link to their emails. Up to date, they have not yet responded to that.
All right, let me answer that very quickly. I think just a few days ago, we may well have activated the ability for you to, if you register somebody, that person typically will be listed in your account. So you can now go to pending users, and you may well be able to see them there, and you can initiate the resending of a verification link yourself. But we will cross-check that, and I would encourage others to cross-check it and make sure that indeed is working. But we have a slightly more challenging problem, which I was going to talk about, Sister Pauline, if I may, and it's in relation to email delivery. We do push out a large number of emails just because of the sheer size of the community. And because of the sudden surge recently, I think some email deliveries are delaying the delivery of our messages. And so some people don't have an issue. Some people have issues where the emails are not being delivered. The only solution is to use our own email service. And we keep saying that. That is the solution, the long-term solution. Get your Swiffen mailbox. And with your Swiffen mailbox, the messages will be delivered almost instantly. And you can go in and you can check it. Whenever you lose your password, we can help you to recover that password. It is important that people do that. I mean, on the one hand, we are of the mind that in order to deliver an impeccable, high-quality service where message delivery is not impacted by the deliverability of messages subject to what other people want to allow within their network, that we should mandate that everyone should have an email. But on the other hand, those that their email is already working, why change it? Use it. But we are really experiencing some serious challenges with email delivery. And so would encourage anyone who is having difficulties getting confirmation emails from our systems, get a Swiffen mailbox. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
$2,
thank you, Dr. Linus. Daniel, what I can also say to you is, I had the experience when I was registering some people on a training course yesterday. When the verification email was sent, it took some time before the email was actually received by the recipient. So sometimes you just automatically think that, oh, I can go straight to my email and it's there. Like what Dr. Linus says, due to the volume or the traffic, it may be slightly delayed, but keep checking your normal email or primary email and your junk box, and it will be received, because what's happened is after a while you get someone come through and say, oh, I received 2 emails, and that's because it's caught up with itself. So it's just to be mindful that that could also happen. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the last question, please. I've been asking for someone to help me and add me to any of the WhatsApp group. I send it to different people in the house here, but none of them have responded to that. And the reason why I was asking for that, in case the meeting is not yet being held and I have issues, I can have a place to share that issue so that I should get the response before the meeting time or after the meeting time. But still up to date.
Okay.
No response.
Okay. If there's anyone here that can answer Daniel and say join your particular group, please email him. You can do that privately and welcome him to your group. Okay, because we're a family. We're here to strengthen each other.
That's right. And also, Daniel,
create your own group, Daniel.
Yes, and you can even do that on Connect. You can go to Connect and you can create a group. I mean, one of the challenges that we have is sometimes it's difficult to keep communication in one place with all the disparate WhatsApp groups that are available out there. But that's why we created our own community, so that we can speak with one voice and we can share information in a manner that is accessible to everybody without any differentiation whether they belong to that group or not. So, for example, if you go to Connect and you post a message or a question, the chances are somebody in the community will respond to you because that communication is open to all members of the community. And so we really sincerely encourage people to use that and create working groups using Connect, because you would find that that is going to be more efficient and more effective. The one thing that we have reintroduced just in the last 2 days is chat. So now you can have private communication by sending private messages on Connect. It is there. And in due time, we may well bring back the video calling facility that we once had there. We took it off just to sort of contain bandwidth and all that. But that is also a tool that's available for the community, where you can just stay within the community, you can send messages, you can chat, and hopefully very soon, again, you should be able to just make your telephone calls right there and communicate more effectively. So let's use the tools that we have and keep this movement strong and alive and going. Right. Of course, it's not a suggestion that people should stay away from other types of groups. If it works for you, it works for you. But if you want greater access, then let's reach out to more people and perhaps use Connect more.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. Well, there you go, Daniel.
All right, thank you.
Yes, and not only that, they say, ask and you shall receive. You're getting messages in this various chat right now. So have a look and see the chat and go ahead. And as Dr. Linus has said, put it on the community, and I'm sure you'll be inundated with people that you can discuss, or you have a whole community that you can talk to, and that can help you with any query that you may have. But thank you very much for your question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Ambassador Rowe, Ambassador Jasmine, please unmute and ask your question. If you can keep it brief, it'd be appreciated.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just wanted to ask, we have come from the Swiften account to the Connect, and there's still a lot of people who are still we've gone Connect and we've gone as well.
Ambassador, you were cutting up, so your question wasn't coming through complete.
There's still a lot of people who are still stuck with the Swiffin and have not moved to a Connect, to open a Connect account. How are we going to deal with that? How do we get them to move to Connect? Because each time I speak with them and show them the rope of how to get there, they're still having problems. So there is quite a lot of people that has not moved or opened a Connect account, and that needs to be dealt with. That's one question, just one. And I'm having a problem with mine, actually. I can't find certain things on my Connect account.
Okay.
I really need some help to get back on track.
Okay, in the first question, do you want to answer the first question, Dr. Linus? And in regards to the second question, Ambassador, if you want to connect with me at some point, we can talk through the second element of your question. But the first element, if you can answer that one, Dr. Linus. She said
yes.
she's got issues with a number of people that have their Swift account, but don't have their Connect accounts. So how are we going to reach out to those people? What can we do?
Yeah, the Swiffin account remains a Swiffin account. We just simply call it account now. It has all the functionality that we've implemented or migrated across. Community serves a different kind of purpose in bringing people together and providing a different kind of reward and compensation mechanism for community members. For example, when you post and share content, you get rewarded with some AKL every day. And I'm sure there are many community members who will testify to that. You can transfer it into your Swiffin account at any time. That process is now open. People were asking, how do I transfer my Lumi from Connect into my Swiffin account? That process is now open, and many are using it already. Ambassador Jasmine, Connect was created to solve a number of specific challenges. The first was to have one place where we can all share our voice, where we can all share ideas with one another, we can exchange ideas, and we can keep the conversation going strong. The other reason was to have a place where you can get help from community members. What we are doing is educating people across the globe, across various local communities and to the most remote area where people live. And by equipping them with a certain kind of knowledge and understanding and empowering them to impart that knowledge to others, we can move forward with our journey, our collective journey, much faster and more rapidly. And so the need for a central place to learn, exchange ideas, and get help was there, and that's what Connect does. And so everybody's encouraged to actually create a Connect account. For example, you couldn't create a ticket if you need help if you don't have a Connect account, because you need to log into Connect to post your ticket. You could benefit by posting your message to other members of the community who have knowledge in the areas where you are struggling, so they can help you. If you are not on Connect, you can't do that. So you're missing out, you're losing out. I think all we can do is continue to educate and inform people of the merits of having your Connect account. I think when we started, people were saying, but why are you doing something that's similar to Facebook? We already have Facebook. No, it's not Facebook. It doesn't intend to be Facebook. It doesn't intend to be Twitter. It doesn't intend to be TikTok. It's just a community where people seriously can get information about our struggle and about our cause. And that's where you'll find all the documentation. That's where you'll find all the training, and there'll be some training material coming on board in the form of proper lessons across various areas. That's the place you can expect it to be. And so let's educate each other of the merits of coming in. Connect is not the place where if you want to just go and waste your time browsing. We expect people to be sharing informative content with each other and informing each other of opportunities in their neck of the wood where other community members can benefit so that, you know, we can encourage this sharing economy for the benefit of all. That's what it's for. It's a very important tool for us. It's a very important tool. Let's use it.
Thank you, Dr. Linus. And I hope that answers your question, Ambassador. Next question is from
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Jasmine.
You're welcome, ma'am. Nokoski Zulu. Nokoski Zulu, can you unmute yourself, please?
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Sister Pauline, sorry, it's Nkosi.
Oh, Nkosi, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nkosi Zulu. I will learn one day, forgive me.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Good evening, everyone. My question is just on the age limit. It didn't come out clear when you were discussing the age, because we have got children, and at some point it was mentioned that we could register them, but I think now that there's an age issue that was raised. Are we saying 18 is the limit, or can we register younger children? Thank you very much.
Dr. Linus?
I think it was in Eswatini, when we went to Eswatini. There was a very explicit request there that, you know, in the country, there are a lot of young people who are looking after a lot of their young siblings because either their parents have passed away or something like that. It's a large population of them. And they had made a request to reduce the age for people who can be registered in Eswatini to, I think it was Brother Servius. Do you remember?
It was 13. It was reduced to 13.
It was reduced to 13.
Yes.
So, and that was particularly in Eswatini because there is quite a large population of very young people who are the main carers of their siblings. And it would be, we would not be meeting our objectives if they were excluded because they are 13. It is something we need to think about seriously, and as a community, maybe debate about it and come into a consensus, because I know for sure, for example, when my son was born in the United Kingdom, at the time when he was born, they had this thing where they called the Child Trust Fund, where you could set up a fund and put some money aside for the child, and the child would not be able to access that money until they're 18. Now,
Dr. Linus, sorry to cut you off.
Yes?
Can Nkosi confirm that she's under Princess? Is it the same person?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, okay, no, my leader, we can have a separate discussion on that face to face.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, Dr. Linus.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Generally, though, it's an important consideration that, I mean, perhaps we can allow children to be registered by their parents. Obviously, they wouldn't come onto the platform and do any transactions themselves, but perhaps those accounts could be under the custody of their parents, and they could keep their Lumi until they are old enough to access and spend it themselves. I don't, in principle, see that as necessarily a bad idea, but we need to think about it and we need to structure it properly, because remember, this is about leveling up. It's about creating the opportunity for people to access something that they probably have not accessed before. And so maybe we need to find a mechanism to include the younger people. But let's discuss that. We'll take that offline and discuss it.
Okay, Ngozi, thank you very much for your question. And as you heard, Chief Samako and Dr. Linus said, they will contact you directly. You'll be contacted directly. So thank you very much for your question.
I'm not Chief Samako.
Oh, Chief Service. Chief Service, because we mentioned him earlier. Sorry, thank you. Thank you for the correction. Our next question is from Simon Ezra? Simon, can you unmute yourself, please? Simon gone, Ezra? Yeah, thank you. If you can keep your questions brief, because there's still a number of hands up and we have gone way over our time.
Okay, thank you very much, ma. And Linus, for the excellent presentation. My question is, assuming now, since he talks about leverage for others to take advantage, if I registered 4 persons, go ahead in that manner so that we create a good network, so that they also have the opportunity of. Does that mean that I needed to be training this after the first 4 I've registered, or go 4 to also register 4 or more than that? So I'll continue like.
Yes, people need to know what I mean, at the very least, people need to know that we are addressing the 2 problems of exclusion, and that we are bent on ensuring everyone has access to a common instrument of exchanging value. So at the very least, people need to be educated about that. But also, if you can tell them about the social income model and how they can benefit by virtue of participating and helping to engage and onboard other people, then that will also be a good thing. Because as we have learned from this session, that there are many people who are going around registering others and they did not know. So let's educate one another of the merits. And as you have seen yourself from the numbers, you don't necessarily get too much by just keeping it a secret and registering everybody yourself so that you can get T1. No, you get more by empowering others to go on and register more people. It's just the numbers. That's what it is. I mean, we looked at the numbers ourselves. I mean, maths is maths. Numbers are numbers. They don't. And for those who have been receiving this T1, T2, and T3 and T4 commissions, they can testify to that they're getting more T5s and perhaps more T3s or T4s.
I'm also a beneficiary of that.
You are a beneficiary of that.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That's testament. Thank you for that.
Yeah. The other question is, more than a month now, I've registered somebody on. Send the email I needed to validate, which I've done that, but yet they are yet to send the SWIFT ID.
Yeah, if the SWIFT ID is not sent, then the account has not been validated. Then it's still sitting in a pending bucket.
Okay, even today I went to the email to validate the link or the registration, but yet it will roll all through.
Yeah.
It has become successful before they send this SWIFT ID, but
okay,
nothing yet.
On that, I can only suggest just if it's rolling and it seems nothing is happening, please try again. It could be a temporary disconnection or a busy network and all that. So click on the link again, copy the link and paste it in your browser if you have to, and hopefully that would also help.
Okay, Simon, thank you very much for your.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. The next question is from Nanu Jude Weo.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you keep your question as brief as possible? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful presentation. My question is that, like me, I'm in Nigeria and I have a shop. I have a provision store that if I can say I will start accepting the Lumi, I will accept. But like our sister Ima, I don't know whether there are places after he accepted the Lumi, he go and bought the goods with the Lumi. So as me, as I'm in Nigeria, I don't know your partner that if I accept the Lumi and accumulate it, I will go and exchange and also buy the goods again. So I want to know that if there is any partner in Nigeria with you that if I accept the Lumi and accumulate it, I will also go and exchange it to the fiat and buy the goods again.
I've seen some videos circulating about a market in Nigeria where people go and spend their Lumi. I mean, of course, I haven't been there personally to verify. The one thing I have to say, though, is that it is all our collective responsibility to make use of our Lumi. And that means creating opportunities to accept it and also creating opportunities to use it and being willing and able to use it. Now, how can you start accepting it without causing any meaningful damage to your business? I think one of our colleagues has explained this before quite succinctly, that if, for example, if your profit on selling bread is 30%, out of that 30% profit from selling your bread, just accept 10% of it in Lumi, so that you are not hampering your own ability to restock in a way that can disturb or disrupt your business. But you have started, you have taken that all important step of starting. Starting is the key. I can tell you now that 1.3 billion people across the continent, we all start exchanging Lumi with each other, the world will be a different place. Maybe the days of currency manipulation and fall in value of our continental African currencies that remain a source of misery and poor economic performance in many circumstances might be different. But let's not make any mistakes that someone else will cause that to happen. We have to make it happen. And it starts with every one of us, the communities, the individuals that are in pain every day, that are suffering in poverty, that have no other option but to pass misery and poverty from one generation to the next. Not because they are incapable of being creative and coming up with innovative ideas that can create wealth, but because the opportunities are just for a select few. Let's change it. Let's change it. As a community, let's work together and change it. We can. I'm pretty confident we can. But it starts with action. So start selling 10%, not everything. Start today. Make an announcement. Say, come to my shop. I have a Lumi Day. And on the Lumi Day, I will sell only 10% of my stock in Lumi. If you come after that time, you pay the full amount in Nigerian Naira. You will be surprised. You will draw so many customers into your store that you haven't seen before. Your business will boom. Your sales in Nigerian Nairas will rocket. You will make more money, both in Nigerian Naira and some Lumi. Your business will be doing very well. Try it. Start. Make the announcement and watch the queues come to your door.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Linus. And also, Nanu, if you've got your Connect account, put it on your Connect account as your post it on a Connect account so that you make the community aware that you're willing to, you're prepared to accept Lumi on a particular day so that people will know, your community will know, you'll be flooded, but I hope you can cope with the amount of people that will come to you. But congratulations and good luck going forward.
Okay, thank you so much for the explanation.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Gilbert. Gilbert, can you unmute yourself, please?
Bonjour,
Your network is not very good. You can...
Je dis que je peux question en français.
No, Dr. Linus, we have a French person. Do you want to interject, please? Or anyone else here that can speak French that can interpret?
He can go ahead. I'll try.
Okay, go ahead, Gilbert.
Ok. Moi, je suis au Burundi, c'est le pays francophone.
Oui.
Première question, je fais les transferts AKL et tout Transact. Mais si j'entre dans Transact, je ne peux pas voir accès de mettre AKL dans les monnaies locales.
Okay,
ça, c'est la première question.
Il y a deux choses. On a créé... est-ce que je peux...
Oui, j'ai déjà créé.
Je peux te répondre le premier question, s'il vous plaît?
Oui.
OK, d'accord. On a créé Transact pour donner la possibilité d'effectuer les transactions en valeur de monnaie locale, mais le seul agent qu'on a effectué a fait le transfert, c'est AKL. D'accord? Donc, il n'y a pas la possibilité de convertir AKL dans ton monnaie locale pour transférer dans ton compte bancaire, par exemple. Mais tu peux utiliser Transact pour effectuer les transactions en valeur de monnaie locale.
OK.
C'est bon?
Oui, mais c'est bon. J'ai créé les transacts. J'ai eu un numéro de transact.
Oui.
Mon numéro de transact. J'ai déjà eu.
Il y a un processus pour effectuer ou bien autoriser les transactions. Donc, si on n'a pas déjà autorisé ton transaction ou bien effectuer le transfert, il faut d'abord attendre que l'équipe qui travaille sur ça fait leur travail pour autoriser les transactions.
OK.
Okay. You okay now, Gilbert? Okay, thank you very much, sir. Our next question is from Masaba. Masaba, can you unmute, please? I'm sure I pronounced.
Sorry for that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here in South Africa. When I get registered, recruited by somebody on Lumi, that was a good thing, and I appreciate that. But the conception that I had is that we can manage to change our Lumi into rand. Fortunately, I had to go and recruit a lot of people to join us on the Lumi. I've got a lot of people who joined in a conception of they're gonna manage to change their money into rent because they told us about Luno to rent. But unfortunately, I don't know where to do and how to change the money. And I don't know even how to advise them to change it. And people that keep on asking me, number one, and there's another one who died before she get her Lumi. So the question is, how is she gonna get her Lumi or what's gonna happen about that? Even now, I want to register more. There's a lot of people who want to register. I'm scared because of now they come back to me to know how, they ask me how they can change their Lumis. So I'm not sure in South Africa, how do we change? What can we do? Even if we can open those puzzle shops or whatever, how are we gonna start selling and buying, and how are we gonna do it? Because we can't even withdraw. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Masaba. The first thing is that we do not provide and have never said at any point in the past that you can convert your Lumi into any other currency in the world, not even South African Rand. Let me repeat that. We are not distributing the Lumi so that you can go and convert it into your local currency. We are distributing the Lumi so that you can use it within the community to buy goods and services from community members that are able and willing to accept the Lumi. In order to address the question of how many South African Rand is in one Lumi, or how many Nigerian Naira is in one Lumi, we created Transact. And Transact gives you the local currency experience when you are making and receiving payments in Lumi. In Transact, you can click a button which says South African Rand, and you can enter the values in familiar South African Rand values. But the underlying instrument of exchange is always Lumi. The advantage of doing that within Transact is in the same spot, you can switch to Nigerian Naira and do a transaction with somebody in Nigeria. In the same spot, you can switch to Malawian Kwacha and do a transaction with somebody in Malawi. In the same spot, you can transact with people across the 6 countries in the Central African franc CFA zone where they use franc CFA. And that is true for any other currency within continental Africa or anywhere else in the world for that matter. That gives us the opportunity to achieve our common instrument of exchange goal. So on that, that's right where we want to be. We want inclusion. We want every community member across all the countries that have been excluded for generations to be included. Once they are included, we want them to use our Lumi as a common instrument of exchanging value wherever they are in the world, using a complete local currency experience, entering values in familiar local currency amounts, but transacting completely in real time with the underlying instrument being exchanged being our single instrument of exchanging value across the community, which is the Lumi. That's our promise. And I can count the number of times when we've come to the daily session when I haven't started with that opening remark or closed with that opening remark. And we should all be confident to go and educate others across our communities, wherever we are, and say that is the journey we are on. That is the collective journey we are on. It's never been about giving you Lumi so that you can go convert it into South African Rand or convert it into Nigerian Nairas. No. It is so that we can use Lumi as an instrument of exchanging value that is accessible to all, without regard to rank and class, without regard to where you are in the world.
Thank you,
I hope that answers your question.
Yes,
now, that
yes.
does not mean that conversations are not taking place behind the scenes with various institutions, various financial institutions, and various other economic operators with respect to how they can interface and work with the Lumi as best as can be possible, because it's a good instrument. We want, first and foremost, to drive access to all, and for us to be able to exchange value, first and foremost, amongst ourselves as a community.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Linus.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Masaba. Also, if you just notice in the chat, one of our colleagues have actually just put in the chat where you can go and get so much information in regards to what the Lumi can do for us as a community. So thank you very much for that, my colleague in the chat. I think it was Mr. Paul, I can't remember who it was, but thank you for highlighting that for us. Thank you, Dr. Linus. Naman Jade Yahoo, you're back again. How can we help you this time, sir? And this may be the last question because we've actually gone well over our time. Naman? Naman Jude? Oh, maybe he's already answered his questions and that might be a legacy hand. Dr. Linus, I put it to you. I don't know if you want to put it to our various leaders, if they want to have a last say, but I hand the floor back to you.
I think it'll be right to do that. Thank you very much. So if any of our leaders wants to make a quick closing remark, then the floor is open to step in and make the remark.
Okay. I would say, Brother Patch, Chief Servius, would you like to have a closing remark just before we hand the final say to our Dr. Linus?
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Pauline, and thank you everyone for attending.
Can you just bear with me?
Okay.
If Dakila keeps unmuting yourself, I will put you in the waiting room and you will not be able to hear the remainder of the presentation. Please do not unmute yourself. Thank you. Sorry, Chief Service, go ahead.
I just want to remind those in South Africa that Princess Dipo is here, and she is our country representative for the Lumi and the Swifin. She has also a mandate, a direct mandate from ECO6 to represent ECO6. So one of the people that Dr. Linus was talking about being very busy, she's part of the team that is very busy behind the scenes. So maybe Princess, if you would like, how would they contact you? I saw, I can't remember the name, Sister, was it Masaba? I can't remember. But Princess, please let them know how they can contact you so that you can address whatever issues they have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Saviors. I will put my numbers on the chat and they can get my numbers from them. They can just contact me.
Thank you, Princess.
you.
Brother Patrick, please, closing anything that you've heard or anything you would like to add, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Sister Pauline. I certainly would like to thank you, our leaders, the team, for playing for taking care of business so well. Believe you me, you will not believe how much work I've been trying to cover up while sitting here at the same time, listening to you, taking care of business so well. I just want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate everyone who attended this session. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Patrick.
Thank you. And for me myself, because you're going to have the last say, Dr. Linus, the most important. I just want to say thank each and every one. I have noticed that our participant numbers are increasing. Absolutely fantastic. This is why we are here, to strengthen each other, to train each other and encourage each other, because we are our future. No one can build our future but ourselves. So with that being said, I just want to thank each and every one of you taking the time to be here today, because I know that you could probably be doing other things, but you are here with the other members of your family, putting forward a wonderful platform, foundation for our future. For those who's been excluded for many, many years, they can't say that anymore. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for the work that you have put in, the time you have spent, because I know it's not easy, and just continue to let us build our communities from strength to strength. Thank you. I'd just like to pass the floor to Dr. Linus now, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Pauline, for the excellent deliberation and the contributions from all the members who managed to take the time this evening to attend this session. It's always such a great pleasure to have you all here, and it's always very rewarding to exchange and have the opportunity to exchange both ideas and to be able to answer questions amongst ourselves and educate each other as we go along this journey. It is a journey like no other. We are focused on addressing key areas of concern and challenges that have been within our communities for generations. We are not shying away by thinking that these are small tasks that can be overcome, overnight. The journey is very much still ahead of us, and the challenges very much for us to meet. But meet we must. And on that note, I'd say that, of course, we couldn't have come thus far without the resilience and the hard work of every member across all the corners where we need to reach others to be part of this ecosystem so that exclusion could be a thing of the past. We should never lose sight of that. And we should carry on. When we are faced with challenges, let's look around us and see what other option we have. And I'm sure we would always find that carrying on and getting ourselves up, dusting ourselves, learning even more, and pressing on with the journey is our only choice. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So on that note, I wish you all a very wonderful evening and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Let's get the numbers up, spread the word, get this to many people so that through sessions like this, we can educate each other and get the message right where it needs to go so that no one misses out. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Linus. You stole my last line. I was going to say we have another training session tomorrow. It starts South African time, 7 p.m. South African time. Pass the link on, because like Dr. Linus said, that there is no exclusion. Everyone is included. Pass it on so that they can join us. So, and learn and strengthen their minds as well. So I just want to say thank you very much once again. I'm going to stop recording now, and you can open your mics and say good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, and
Good night.
good night, everyone. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you a lot. Try again tomorrow.
Yes, 7 o'clock South African time tomorrow.
Okay. What happened tonight?
I'm going to close the meeting now. So good night, everyone.